This is actually just part 1 of the ultimate guide to biceps hypertrophy. In part 2, which will be released in the next 2 weeks, we'll dissect what rep ranges, volume, and training frequency may be ideal for biceps hypertrophy, in addition to dissecting some other fascinating science surrounding biceps hypertrophy. The reason I'll do this is there have been multiple speculations about what the best training variables might be to develop the biceps. More precisely, some individuals believe since the biceps tend to contain more fast twitch than slow twitch muscle fibers, they should be trained with heavier loads. Some people also believe the biceps experiences a lot of muscle damage from training, and therefore should be trained less frequently. We'll examine if the scientific literature supports these ideas. Nonetheless, let us now summarize everything in this video and then provide some exercise selection recommendations. The standard textbook details are the biceps contain a long and short head, with these origins and insertions. Indeed, this absolutely applies to many people, but as detailed in this paper, the biceps are one of the most morphologically variable muscles in the upper limb. Different people can have different origins and insertions of the heads, and there are even people with a 3rd, 4th, or even 5th biceps head. The biceps are highly involved in both elbow flexion and supination of the forearm. Vertical and horizontal pulling exercises alone are certainly able to produce measurable biceps hypertrophy, but for a variety of reasons, these exercises are likely not sufficient to optimize biceps development. Although, vertical pulls with a supinated grip, like chin-ups, likely are very good for biceps development. The data shows numerous types of isolation biceps exercises are capable of powerfully increasing bicep size. This is very logical. At the end of the day, numerous biceps isolation exercises involve elbow flexion with supination with no real motion at other joints. But if you pushed me to speculate on what the single most effective biceps exercise could be, I would speculate that a curl with the shoulder extended, such as done during an incline curl or cable face-away curl, would be it. This is because with the shoulder extended, the biceps are placed in a position of stretch, and we have research suggesting achieving a stretch during an exercise is great for building muscle. Having said all this, there could potentially be a benefit to training with a few different biceps isolation exercises. The biceps do not grow evenly at its regions, and different people, even if they train the same exercise, can experience different growth across their biceps regions. But it is probable for a given person. Different biceps exercises target different regions of the muscle, meaning training with a few different biceps exercises produces better growth across the regions of the muscle. To make sure this doesn't confuse anyone, I still believe a curl with the shoulder extended is the single biceps exercise that generates the largest bicep volume increases, but it just might not optimally develop all the biceps regions, making it beneficial to train with additional biceps movements. Regardless of what exercises you use to train the biceps with, making sure you perform your repetitions to or at least very near to failure is crucial for optimizing mechanical tension, which has been identified to likely be the primary hypertrophy stimulus. Indeed, we have research showing with the same biceps exercise, there's a large difference in biceps hypertrophy between training to failure and stopping multiple reps from failure. For those wondering if certain biceps exercises can bias either the long or short head, I think it certainly could be possible, and there have been numerous speculations on how you may go about doing this. However, the problem is we just don't currently have sufficient research to prove you can meaningfully bias either head. So what's the recommendations? It's going to depend on your goals. For those who aren't trying to optimize biceps hypertrophy and are trying to train with the least amount of work, training with just compound exercises can be great since multiple muscle groups are trained at the same time. Although vertical and horizontal pulling exercises may not be optimal for biceps hypertrophy for various reasons, they certainly can produce measurable biceps hypertrophy. Recall we previously noted a study out the USA in trained men that found training the seated row and lat pull down produced a 5% increase in elbow flexor thickness after 8 weeks of training. For those who want to go a little further, simply training with one isolation biceps exercise in your program can likely deliver great gains. We detailed an array of studies demonstrating that numerous isolation biceps exercises are capable of powerfully increasing bicep size, so feel free to select whatever you like. If you want to go along with my hypothesis, feel free to train with a curl and shoulder extension since this might be the single most hypertrophic biceps movement thanks to the stretch. For those wanting to take things even further, It's possible different biceps exercises target different regions, so you may want to perform a few biomechanically different biceps exercises in your overall program. For example, you may choose to perform 3 biceps exercises that differ in the shoulder angle being used. Of course, these aren't the only options. You could be somewhere in between these areas just described. For example, you may choose to perform 2 isolation biceps exercises in your program, and you may base the selection on the simple fact you really like these 2 biceps isolation exercises. As mentioned, the second part will be released in the next 2 weeks, which will analyze the data on what rep ranges, volume, and frequency might be ideal for biceps hypertrophy, in addition to other interesting scientific research on the biceps.